Ray says that geometry is a mathematics topic that engages children in performance and persistence, and that it is a natural site for including other skills such as following directions and reasoning about shapes and their properties. Shape, location and transformation come under the subject of geometry. I will be focusing on shape from foundation to grade 2. In the Auswell's descriptors at the foundation level, students develop understandings of common two-dimensional shapes such as squares, rectangles, triangles and circles, and the skills to categorise and describe them. At level 1, students are introduced to basic shape properties, allowing them to classify and describe 2D and 3D objects. This concept is developed in level 2 as students' awareness of shapes is broadened, being able to define, identify key features and draw a variety of 2D and 3D shapes. The concepts of three-dimensional objects continue to develop as the students' abilities to reflect and reason geometrically strengthens. At the foundation level, students view squares and rectangles as having no connection, seen in common responses of rectangles being long or tall, leading to misunderstanding of concepts later, as their prior knowledge logically does not allow squares to fit the descriptors of rectangles. In associating one label with one shape, it restricts their traits and a student's understanding. Reyes discusses how students profit from covering, for example, quadrilaterals as a whole, opposed to utilising precise examples and trying to modify their viewpoint later to minimise their confusion. To understand properties of 3D objects, students need to recognise how features of solids are interconnected. Students have difficulty understanding these relationships, especially when presented in textbooks due to poor spatial understanding, resulting in poor knowledge of 3D concepts. Reyes discusses also the Van Heerly model of geometric understanding, who discovered that students develop their understanding of geometry through 3 levels of thought. At level 0, the precognition level, foundation, the students can only focus on visual cues. At level 1, visual, the students view geometric shapes as a whole, can describe properties based on visualization only, and in relation to 3D objects, the students compare each object by their appearance and are viewed as one, as opposed to distinctive parts. After many experiences describing the properties of figures, they can recognise and describe properties of shapes, moving to level 2, descriptive and analytic, where they can interrelate geometric properties, describing rectangles as having 4 sides, 2 pairs of equal parallel, and 4 right angles. They can also distinguish specific sets of properties of different classes of shapes, connecting different shapes and their relationships. The 3rd level, exploration and discovery, is vital for 3-dimensional shapes, as students need to construct models to visualise the solids to fully comprehend and create connections. The learning objective for students is to progress from having limited understanding of shapes when entering the foundation level, progressing to a grade 2 standard where they can identify, classify, label and draw 2D shapes and 3D objects represented on paper and in their environment. The following activities aid and prompt the students to reach this desired learning outcome. First activity at the foundation level has a lesson objective of the exploration of shapes and how they are used in life. The teacher allocates a specific shape for the week and introduces it. To begin with, you can get the students to cut out images or objects of the specific shape found in magazines or catalogues. And as a class, you can get the students to place their shapes into the correct category. In this way, the students are physically visualising the shapes being applied and used in the world around them. They can then create their shape out of Play-Doh and then place it on a piece of paper and trace around it and cut it out. This reinforces the properties of the shape. When addressing 3D shapes, you can use cutters of varying thickness to reinforce the different properties and elements of the 3D object. Again, this emphasises the learning of the shape or object while getting the students physically involved and engaged, making shapes real and applicable. The second activity for grade 2s is designed to get the students familiar with classifying and comparing 2-dimensional and 3-dimensional objects. First of all, you can get the students to sit around in a circle on the floor around 3D shapes. Each child should pick their own object from the centre of the circle, place it in its correct category on the chart. Once all the students have placed it in their correct category, you can get the students to discuss their reasoning behind the placement. After this, different groups of approximately 5 students can be formed, each allocated with a different unknown net of 3D objects such as a cube or a triangular prism, rectangular prism, and a less common or more challenging one such as a hexagonal prism. Each student then creates their own within the group and then they can label and discuss the number of corners, edges and faces. Each group then presents their object and its properties to the class. Conducting both sections of the activity, students experience many different shapes and develop analytical skills to progress to level 3. These activities engage the students through continual participation, which is vital to strengthen their understanding of the concepts of shapes to progress into more in-depth understandings.